magiliw, preres na silanganan, hanap ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupi, di ka pasisingit. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simula, sa langit mong baba, may dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislat ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagbiniging, ang bituing at araw na kailan pa may di magdidihing. Lupa ng araw ng buwan, ating pagsinta, buhay langit sa ping mo. Ang ligaya lapag, may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Amin. Hello, everyone. Can you hear me? Hello, guys. It's Catch Up Friday again, and yes, I would like to welcome everyone. Good morning, and I do hope that everyone is doing fine right now. And of course, for our Catch Up Friday, let me just give my um, courtesy to our principal, to our head teachers, and also to the master teachers, and all of Ramon Magsaysay teachers and students, also to our parents who are listening right now. Good morning, and I'm hoping that everyone is doing fine right now on a Friday morning. And of course, to begin with our Catch Up Friday program, I would like to call on our master teacher for grade 7, none other than our coordinator, grade 7 English coordinator and master teacher, Mr. Ray C. Esperidion, for his welcoming remarks.
Okay, thank you, Robert, for that introduction. To our education program supervisors, Sir Vicente M. Victorio Jr., to our school principal, Sir Robert P. Velasquez, to our department heads, to our master teachers, fellow teachers, parents, and students, good morning. It's nice to see you online. Mabuhay. We are gathered here today to celebrate and shared passion that unite us all, the joy of reading. Reading is a magical journey that takes us to different worlds, introduces us to new ideas, and widens our understanding of life. Through the pages of a book, we can travel to distant lands, meet fascinating characters, and experience incredible adventures. We can gain insights into complex subjects, explore different cultures, and understand diverse outlooks. As we open a book, we open our minds to endless possibilities. We learn, we grow, and we are inspired. Today, we come together to encourage each other to continue this journey of discovery, to explore deeper into the world of words, and to let the power of reading enrich our lives. So, let us turn the page and begin this exciting chapter together. Welcome to our celebration of reading. Happy reading, Ramonians. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Ray Esperidion, Sir Ray, for the welcoming remarks. And I forgot to introduce myself earlier. By the way, my name is Mr. Robert Amarillo, and I will be the host for this event this morning. And of course, we will be reading the mechanics. These, we decided to encourage everyone to participate for the reading contest. And we selected some students which we believe are good readers or best readers among the class. And now let me read the reading contest mechanics. Number one, Catch a Friday reading contest is open to all grade 7 Ramon Magsaysay High School students. Interested students should coordinate with the respective English teachers for registration. Each English teacher is allowed to choose only one student that will serve as the representative of her or his class. The selected contest piece for the grade 7 is the Why Women Wash Dishes by Filomena Colendrino. And of course, every contestant must produce a read aloud video and submit it via Google form. He or she must be mindful of the video recording guidelines provided by the contest facilitators. The criteria for judging are indicated as pronunciation is 20%, On stage performance, it's 20%. Oral interpretation is 30%, and voice quality is 30%. Only the three videos shall be awarded as first place, second place, and third place. And the decision of the judges is final and irrevocable. So that would be the mechanics for our reading contest. Let's emphasize on the criteria, or recall the criteria. Pronunciation is 20, stage performance is 20, oral interpretation is 30, and voice quality is 30. Overall, that will be 100%. Okay, so moving forward, let me also remind those participants for the video recording guidelines. We required all the participants or representative that we have chosen to wear proper school uniform, perform the read aloud activity by holding the printed copy of the text. But I believe some of the participants were not able to provide a printed copy. Possibly they will be holding a gadget. Next is find a quiet place to do the recording. Make sure the room has good lighting. Choose a background that is not distracting, and record in portrait mode. Do not add sound effects. So those are the video recording guidelines. And moving forward for the next part, I would like to introduce our panel of judges. With the first one, none other than the head teacher or the department head of English department, none other than our beautiful and hardworking Ma'am Doricel P. Balancio. Followed by the next department head, the department head of Filipino, none other than the very industrious, very helpful, very accommodating Ma'am Catalina C. Manongsong. And last but not the least, our very supportive and also hardworking grade 7 curriculum chairman and the department head of AP, Ma'am Ruby Ardenofra. Thank you for accommodating us and allowing us to choose the three of you to be part of our Catch Up Friday as panel of judges. Now, I'd just like to share first the author's background and some overview of the text. As you can see, the title of the story is Why Women Dishes, and our writer or author is none other than Filomena Navarro Colendrino. Um, as we were searching for more information about our writer or author, there are no known facts, or there's not a lot of facts that are posted online. We only have enough information based on the blog which was provided by the niece, or uh, I think this is already, yes, this would be considered as a granddaughter, um, grandniece from the maternal side or auntie. So Filomena Navarro Colendrino is a renowned writer of short stories crafted the compelling narrative Why Women Wash Dishes, which is featured in her anthology Home of the Rice Fields. And despite limited available information about her, Filomena's literary journey extended to the United Kingdom, where she underwent training and ventured into diverse European and Middle Eastern locales. Her exceptional storytelling prowess garnered her multiple accolades, culminating into a scholarship that granted her the opportunity to study at Cambridge University. And of course, for her career and achievements, upon returning to the Philippines, Filomena delved into teaching at private schools. Her passion for education and literature intertwined seamlessly. Eventually, she ascended to the position of intendant of private schools in one of the Upper Luzon regions, where the enchanting city of Baguio resides. and her leadership extended into organizing and overseeing PRISA, which is a private school association, meets showcasing her commitment to fostering excellence in education. So those are some information about the author. Now about the story, there are a lot of things that we could talk about the story. Starting with the symbolisms that was used, like in gender roles. Um, of course, the main character Hugo and the wife Imelda, which is the wife is more dominant here in the story. And another one, they were talking about domestic labor, who should be washing the dishes. And it was asked in the title of the story, why women wash dishes. And the highlights would be the burden of the household activities, emotional labor, and of course, Imelda was insisting on Hugo, the husband, why washing dishes reflects also societal expectations on women. Another one is cultural context. The story is set in the Philippines, where, of course, if you still remember the traditional roles in the earlier days, a lot of women are not allowed to um, work professionally, but they are working inside the house already. Like, of course, washing dishes, the laundry, taking care of the kids, cooking. So most of the stuff which was done inside the house were gender roles, which was traditional gender roles that we grow up with. But of course, there's a big question here in the story on why Imelda was insisting for Hugo to wash the dishes. And that was a frustration, and of course, Hugo was reluctant, and that is because of the domestic duties, and also in the traditional way, most men in the earlier days would always say, I should not be doing the dishes. Why? Because I am a man. So that's part of our culture in the Philippines, the traditional gender roles in the earlier days. Let's have some more information. The intention of the author. It aims to provoke the thought of gender dynamics within the Filipino household, portraying this everyday conflict. What else? The complexities of marital relationship and societal expectations. In summary, why women wash dishes serves an microcosm of large gender-related issues. It's not only limited inside the house, it can be extended also in the workplace. It can also be extended into our communities, in our barangay, in politics, even in church, even in different parts of our society. There are gender roles and gender related issues. So, emphasizing the need for critical examination of the societal norms, the roles assigned to men and women, and the story invites the readers to reflect on the power dynamics inherent to domestic life. So, I would like to invite everyone, the students, our readers, and listeners, to make sure that we understand what's the content of our story for the day. So moving forward, we will be introducing our reading contestants. Give me just a few minutes, guys. Uh, Maybe I'll be introducing the contestants as we watch the videos later. Let's move first to our vocabularies. Yes, let's have the vocabulary word. Okay, so most or some of the words in our text, in our story, are a little bit difficult for some grade 7 students to understand. So we have here the definition of 5 vocabulary words. First is chase. So chase was used in the story, and it means that we are using that to pursue or to catch up with. And evade. Evade means to get away or keep away from something. I do hope our students will be able to use these words someday or one of these days during our class discussions or even in their everyday life. Another one is wager. Something such as a sum of money is risk on a uncertain event. Usually, when we say wager, it's more or similar to a bet. So we would like to bet like the kids or mostly the adults. They would always like to bet on uh, uh, games and they just like to win. So it's similar to a wager. Another one, bewitch, to influence or affect, especially injuriously by witchcraft. So, in the earlier days, when you are told to be a person which is bewitched by a lady, it pertains to witchcraft already. But nowadays, bewitched has a different meaning or a different interpretation, different context. So I can also be bewitched by beautiful women. So it means I am influenced or affected by their beauty. That's also similar to being bewitched. Malady, um, an unwholesome or disordered condition. So these are just the 5 words we have here for our story, Why Women Wash Dishes. Okay, so before we begin our reading contest or reading videos, there are some questions here that I'd like to share with you first. And later, once we are done with the reading videos, I'd like everyone to remember and also answer the questions. I believe I already, or the grade 7 teachers had already sent the questions to you guys, to your respective classes. And we are expecting you guys to answer those questions in your notebook. First question is, what was the reason of Kaugong and Kamaldang's argument? So I believe I already mentioned that earlier during the overview of the text. How did they resolve their argument or how did they solve their argument? What was the ways? Number three, did they settle their argument the right way? Why or why not? And last one, I would be asking all of the students, all of our readers and listeners, if you were to give your opinion, how would you solve their argument? So, what would be the best way to solve the argument? And of course, we are now into the part where we are going to read or view the videos from uh, from the video selected by the English teachers, primarily from Sir Ray Espiridion. I believe this student is from grade 7, Einstein, followed by Ma'am Camille, selected student from Ma'am Camille. Also, another one will be coming from Ma'am Jerica Joyce Rafael, and I also have another contestant. And the last one will be coming from Ma'am Maria Riza Lopez. We would like to request if we could already play the videos, the reading videos of the participants, please. Thank you.
Good day, everyone. I am Harriet Yesha G. Marceliana from 7 Einstein, and I am here to read you the story of why women wash dishes. Now, let's all not beat around the bush and let's start. Why Women Wash Dishes by Philomena Calendrino. In the town of Santa Rosa, there once lived a couple named Hugo, Kaugong, and Imelda, Kamaldang. Every mealtime, they quarreled over the chore of washing the dishes. Imelda would scold Hugo if he refused to wash the dishes. Sometimes she would become angry and call him names. And if he talked back, she would get coconut midrib broom and chase him with it. One day, just as they were finishing their lunch, Kaugong announced that he will no longer wash the dishes anymore. Kamaldang threw a fit of rage and chased Kaugong with a broom. She yelled at him how lazy he was for a man, while Kaugong hid himself under the table to evade getting hit by a broom. Kaugong proposed a wager to settle the matter. Let's stop quarreling over the plates. Let's have a wager. The first one who talks after I'd said begin will wash the dishes. Always. Only that, said Kamaldang. Agreed. All right. Are you ready? Begin, said Kaugong. They both fell silent. They sat at the table looking at each other across the unwashed plates and bowls and spoons. They did not like to leave each other for fear that one would talk without the other's hearing. They sat there, just staring. A neighbor came to borrow an axe from the couple. The neighbor saw the couple sitting silently at the table and made no response to his questions. Did you eat something poisonous? Some food that has made you dumb? The compadre asked. He shook each one alternately, but still neither stood up nor talked. The neighbor was alarmed. He told them that something terrible had happened to his compadre Ugong and comadre Maldang. The neighbors gathered at Kamaldang's dining 5 rooms. They took turns trying to make them speak, but the two continued to sit staring at each other in silence. The compadre decided to call the village herbman. The village herbman declared that they were bewitched. He suggested that they must be buried to prevent the malady from happening to them also. They put Kaugong in a coffin. Kaugong did not protest, thinking he can just get out once the neighbors were gone. He was sure he would win the wager. When the neighbors tried to put Kamaldang in the coffin, she shouted, "Don't touch us! Get out! Get out of my house! Shame on you for coming here meddling with our lives!" Kaugong leaped to his feet. He also shouted, "You talk first!" He jumped about, clapping his hands and saying to the astonished neighbors, "She talked first. We had a wager. Now she will always wash the dishes." And that concludes our story. I hope that everyone understood the story. And thank you all for listening.
Why Women Wash Dishes by Filomena Colendino. In the town of Santa Rosa, there once lived a couple named Hugo, Kaugong, and Imelda, Kamaldang. Every mealtime, they quarreled over the chore of washing the dishes. Imelda would scold Hugo if he refused to wash the dishes. Sometimes, she would become angry and call him names. And if he talked back, she would get coconut midge broom and chase him with it. One day, just as they were finishing their lunch, Kaugong announced that he will no longer wash the dishes anymore. Kamaldang threw a fit of rage and chased Kaugong with a broom. She yelled at him how lazy he was for a man, while Kaugong hid himself under the table to evade getting hit by a broom. Kaugong proposed a wager to settle this matter. Let's stop quarreling over the plates. Let's have a wager. The first one who talks after I said begin will wash the dishes. Always. Only that, said Kamaldang. Agreed. All right, are you ready? Begin, said Kaugong. They both fell silent and sat at the table, looking at each other across the unwashed plates and bowls and spoons. They did not like to leave each other for fear that one would talk without the others hearing. They sat there, just staring. A neighbor came to borrow an axe from the couple. The neighbor saw the couple sitting silently at the table and made no response to his questions. Did you eat something poisonous? Some food that has made you dumb? The compadre asked. He shook each one alternately, but still, neither stood up nor talked. The neighbor was alarmed. He told them that something terrible had happened to his compadre Ugong and comadre Maldang. The neighbors gathered at Kamaldang's dining room. They took turns trying to make them speak, but the two continued to sit staring at each other in silence. The compadre decided to call the village herdsmen. The village herdsmen declared that they were bewitched. He suggested that they must be buried to prevent the malady from happening to them also. They put Kaugong in a coffin. Kaugong did not protest, thinking he can just get out of the grave once his neighbors were gone. He was sure he would win the wager when his neighbors tried to put Kamaldang in the coffin. She shouted, "Don't touch us! Get out! Get out of my house! Shame on you for coming here, meddling with our lives!" Kaugong leaped to his feet. He also shouted, "You talk first!" He jumped about clapping his hands and saying to the astonished neighbors, "She talked first. We had a wager. Now she will always wash the dishes."
Why Women Wash Dishes by Filomena Colendrino. In the town of Santa Rosa, there once lived a couple named Hugo, Kaugong, and Imelda, Kamaldang. Every mealtime, they quarrel over the chore of washing the dishes. Imelda would scold Hugo if he refused to wash the dishes. Sometimes she would become angry and call him names, and if he talked back, she would get a coconut midge broom and chase him with it. One day, just as they were finishing their lunch, Kaugong announced that he will no longer wash the dishes anymore. Kamaldang threw a fit of rage and chased Kaugong with a broom. She yelled at him how lazy he was for a man, while Kaugong hid himself under the table to avoid getting hit by the broom. Kaugong proposed a wager to settle the matter. "Let's stop quarreling over the plates. Let's have a wager. The first one who talks after I said begin will wash the dishes always." "Only that?" said Kamaldang. "Agreed." "All right. Are you ready? Begin," said Kaugong. They both fell silent. They sat at the table looking at each other across the unwashed plates and bowls and spoons. They did not like to leave each other for fear that one would talk without each other's hearing. They sat there just staring. A neighbor came to borrow an axe from the couple. The neighbor saw the couple sitting silently at the table and made no response to his questions. "Did you eat something poisonous? Some food that has made you dumb?" the compadre asked. He shook each one alternately, but still, neither stood up nor talked. The neighbor was alarmed. He told them that something terrible happened to his compadre Ugong and comadre Maldang. The neighbors gathered at Kamaldang's dining room. They took turns trying to make them speak, but the two continued to sit staring at each other in silence. The compadre decided to call the village herdsman. The village herdsman declared that they were bewitched. He suggested that they must be buried to prevent the malady from happening to them also. They put Kaugong in a coffin. Kaugong did not protest, thinking he can just get out of the grave once his neighbors were gone. He was sure he would win the wager. When the neighbors tried to put Kamal down in the coffin, she shouted, "Don't touch us! Get out! Get out of my house! Shame on you for coming here, meddling with our lives!" Kaugong leaped to his feet. He also shouted, "You talked first!" He jumped about, clapping his hands and saying to the astonished neighbors, "She talked first! We had a wager! Now she will always wash the dishes."
Good day, everyone. My name is Samantha Nicole M. Pahimula from grade 7 Faith. Now we're gonna read Why Humans Wash Dishes. In the town of Santa Rosa, there once lived a couple named Hugo Kaugong and Imelda Kamaldang. Every mealtime they quarreled over the chore of washing the dishes. Imelda would scold Hugo if he refused to wash the dishes. Sometimes she would become angry and call him names, and if he talked back, she would get coconut midget broom and chase him with it. One day, just as they were finishing their lunch, Kaugong announced that he will no longer wash the dishes anymore. Kamaldang threw a fit of rage and chased Kaugong with a broom. She yelled at him how lazy he was for a man, while Kaugong hid himself under the table to evade getting hit by a broom. Kaugong proposed a wager to settle the matter. "Let's stop quarreling over the plates, let's have a wager. The first one who talks after I'd said begin will wash the dishes always." "Only that?" said Kamaldang. "Agreed." "All right, are you ready? Begin," said Kaugong. They both fell silent. They sat at the table looking at each other across the unwashed plates and bowls and spoons. They did not like to leave each other for fear that one would talk without the other's hearing. They sat there just staring. A neighbor came to borrow an axe from the couple. The neighbor saw the couple sitting silently at the table and made no response to his questions. "Did you eat something poisonous? Some food that will make you dumb?" the compadres asked. He shook each one alternately, but still neither stood up nor talked. The neighbor was alarmed. He told them that something terrible had happened to his compadre, Hugong and Comadre Maldang. The neighbors gathered at Camalde's dining room. They took turns trying to make them speak, but the two continued to sit staring at each other in silence. The compadre decided to call the village herdsman. The village herdsman declared that they were bewitched. He suggested that they must be buried to prevent the malady from happening to them also. They put Kaugong in a coffin. Kaugong did not protest, thinking he can just get out of a grave once his neighbors were gone. He was sure he would win the wager. When the neighbors tried to put Kamaldang in a coffin, she shouted, "Don't touch us! Get out! Get out of my house! Shame on you for coming here meddling with our lives!" Kaugong leaped to his feet. He also shouted, "You talked first!" He jumped about, clapping his hands and saying to the astonished neighbors, "She talked first! We had a wager. Now she will always wash the dishes." Thank you.
Why Why Women Wash Dishes by Filomena Colendrino. In the town of Santa Rosa, there once lived a couple named Hugo, Ka Ugong, and Imelda, Ka Maldang. Every mealtime, they quarreled over the chore of washing the dishes. Imelda would scold Hugo if he refused to wash the dishes. Sometimes, she would become angry and call him names. And if he talked back, she would get coconut made with broom and chase him with it. One day, just as they were finishing their lunch, Ka Ugong announced that he will no longer wash the dishes anymore. Ka Maldang threw a fit of rage and chased Ka Ugong with a broom. She yelled at him how lazy he was for a man, while Kaugong hid himself under the table to evade getting hit by a broom. Kaugong proposed a wager to settle the matter. Let's stop quarreling over the plates. Let's have a wager. The first one who talks after I said begin will wash the dishes. Always. Only that? Said Kamaldang. Agreed. All right. Are you ready? Begin, said Kaugong. They both fell silent. They sat at the table looking at each other across the unwashed plates and bowls and spoons. They did not like to leave each other for fear that one would talk without the other's hearing. They sat there, just staring. A neighbor came to borrow an axe from the couple. The neighbor saw the couple sitting silently at the table and made no response to his questions. Did you eat something poisonous? Some food that has made you dumb? The compadre asked. He shook each one alternately, but still neither stood up nor talked. The neighbor was alarmed. He told them that something terrible had happened to his compadre Ugong and comadre Maldang. The neighbors gathered at Kamaldang's dining room. They took turns trying to make them speak, but the two continued to sit staring at each other in silence. The compadre decided to call the village herdman. The village herdman declared that they were bewitched. He suggested that they must be buried to prevent the malady from happening to them also. They put Kaugong in a coffin. Kaugong did not protest, thinking he can just get out of the grave once his neighbors were gone. When the neighbors tried to put Kamaldang in the coffin, she shouted, "Don't touch us! Get out! Get out of my house! Shame on you for coming here, meddling with our lives!" Kaugong leaped to his feet. He also shouted, "You talk first!" He jumped about clapping his hands and saying to the astonished neighbors, "She talked first! We had a wager. Now she will always wash the dishes."
Thank you so much, everyone. And of course, now we are in the part where we are going to request everyone, those who are at home, to also perform their own um, reading aloud at home, independent reading aloud at home. I would be requesting the students to always practice reading orally, not only inside the house, but also um, during our classes. Make sure that you always participate if you will be having reading sessions. Also, we will be requesting everyone to participate in our virtual reading discussion. I would be again asking you guys the four questions that I gave earlier regarding the story that we just have heard about why women wash dishes by Filomena Colendrino. Can we or would like to request to please flash again the questions, please? There, we have the questions here with starting with what was the reason of Kaugong and Kamaldang's argument? I will be requesting our grade 7 participants to please join me in answering these questions. You can write down in our um, page and comment what could be the reason of Kaogong and Kamaldang's arguments. Can we have some answers from our students? What was the reason of the argument? They are arguing who will wash the dishes. Thank you, Clarice, for that answer. Yes, that was the primary reason why they were having an argument. What or who will be washing the dishes? Since in our earlier times, since I was young, we were having arguments with my, or I was having arguments with my siblings who will be washing the dishes. But this kind of scenario plays the role between the husband and wife. Of course, kaugong argument of washing the dishes. Yes, thank you for those answers. Of course, that's a very, very hard task for everyone. I don't know what's wrong with washing the dishes inside the house or at home, but even until now, we always um, ask or request to take turns on washing the dishes. When we grew up, that's how they were, how we were told by my parents to wash the dishes. You're going to take turns. Robert will be taking Monday, Raymond will be taking Tuesday, or Rachel will be on Wednesday, and Ruth May will be on a Thursday. So that's how we were raised and how we were assigned on washing the dishes. Now, moving forward, how did they solve their argument? What was the formula, or what could be the strategy that was made so that they would be able to come up with or solve their problem on who would be washing the dishes? What was their uh, the couple made a wager on who will be washing the dishes. Okay, what could be the wager? What was the wager about? If they made a major, they made a bet. Whoever talks first, from Zane Grey Marasigan, whoever talks first will wash the dishes always. So that was their strategy or their wager on whoever talks first will wash the dishes always. So they started doing that for some time, and of course, a lot of people were curious, their neighbors, their friend, the people from the community, they were wondering what was the wager and how are they going to solve it. Who's gonna talk once? Whoever talked first will wash the dishes always. So that was the answer to their the strategy or the wager to solve their argument. Can we have the third question? Did they settle their argument the right way? Why or why not? Is it the right way to settle the argument by using the wager on whoever talks first? And why do you think if it's the right way, or why is it not the right way? If I was in this situation, I'm not sure if I would agree on that kind of wager. Maybe when I was still young with my siblings, I would do that. Whether they settle their arguments the right way is subjective. Perspective, humorous perspective, yes. The wager brought about an unexpected and amusing resolution. However, in practical sense, it may not be considered conventional or ideal. That's a very interesting answer from Emmanuel Abali. Thank you so much for that answer. Yes, the story is placed in a humorous perspective, and if we are talking about practical sense or practical way, that would not be the best solution for us. And last question. If you were to give your opinion, how would you solve their argument? What could be the possible strategy, or how would you talk about it with your husband or wife? How would you solve on who would be washing the dishes? From Clarice, they can wash the dishes alternately. Yes, that's a good answer. Setting a time when we'll come all down will wash the dishes, and when will Kaogong will wash the dishes, they can switch turns every time. So we will be having a time from they should make a schedule from Gaia. Take turns from Sharia. So yes, that would be the best solution for that. They will be taking turns. As I mentioned earlier, the traditional role for women, since the story was written a long time ago, the traditional way for writing or doing the household activities was assigned to women, and that's the reason why Kamaldang was insisting on Hugo to do the dishes and not just Kamaldang. And of course, you can just wash the dishes by your own time you wanted. You can wash the dishes. Okay. So you could also wash it on your own time. If they are probably eating together, yes, they would be taking turns on washing the dishes. But if you are eating on your own, you really need to wash your own dishes. So that would be the best one of the best solutions for that. So thank you for those who participated in our independent reading, and um, we would like to give our floor to Mom. Are we going to request the floor to Mom Jerica Joyce Rafael for promoting love for reading? Okay, so I am just going to share um, the thanks or give thanks to Mom Jerica Joyce Sigisa and also to the rest of the team and also for the RMHS English Club. Thank you so much for all the help. For our technical working group, I would like to thank Mr. Ray Esperijon, and for our program and invitation, Ma'am Jerica Segiza. Sorry, Jerica Joyce Rafael. She's already married. And registration from Ma'am Camille Valenzuela, and also for documentation I'll be doing that, and certificates was assigned to Mom Maria Riza Lopez. Also I would like to again give thanks to our very um, good readers, selected students from grade 7 Einstein Harriet Yeja Marceliano under Sir Espirijon, also from grade 7 Faith Samantha Nicole Pahimula, of course, under my advisory class, and Seven Knowledge, Georgina Carlisle, Piloton, Maria Riza Lopez, under Ma'am Lopez, and from grade 7 Amity, Maria Sofia Eunice Camontoy, from Ma'am Jerica Joyce Rafael. I think she had some technical difficulties, but I think it was also played from grade 7 Amity. And also from grade 7 Excellence, Maria Anika A. Pabico from Ma'am Camille Valenzuela. So let me just get some few reminders here. Of course, the announcement of the winners will be done during our culminating program. I believe our culminating program will be done at the end of this month, March. Um, on the 1st of March. Yes, it will be done on the 1st of March because that will be the last Friday. And also, I will be expecting other students to participate next month for our Catch Up Fridays. I'll be selecting other students who would be joining the reading contest. There will be winners here, first, second, and third place for those who participated in our reading contest. Last but not the least, I would like to give thanks to our principal, Sir Robert P. Velasquez, for giving us the chance to do this online activity for the grade 7 students who don't have physical classes right now for Ramon Magsaysay. And also to my department head, Ma'am Doris LP Balanso, and all those staff from the SSLG community. Thank you so much for assisting us, the grade 7 teachers. I do hope again to see you guys. I love to talk to you again and share the discussions with you on a different story next month. And once again, this is Sir Robert Amarillo, your host for this afternoon, for this morning. Have a great day, everyone. See you again next month.